I guess we're started. How you doing, guys? I just decided that I was going to. Oh, let me close this door. I'm so sorry. Come on, get out. Get out. Slippers are all wet. Okay, so I decided that I was going to tune in and talk about some things that I realized I have never gone over or discussed, and some of the most interesting topics that I have come across so far in the many years now that I have been working with spirits. And the different types of entities that I can't believe, like I couldn't believe when I first found out, like they're real. It's not just like storybooks. They're like Disney movies that like some of these entities they're like real. They're honestly more real than even you or me in a lot of different ways. They're amazing. But yeah, I get super excited about that stuff because I can't believe it. Honestly, it made me believe and realize like everything exists. You know what I mean? There's not anything that's not somewhere true or was or it continues to be. And there are a lot of different realms besides just this realm here. Along with that, I want to play some clips of some of these videos that I have seen to point out my observations of maybe in situations that people take them as scary when they don't need to go there, because I honestly believe that there's no such thing as like an all bad spirit and an all good spirit. Even as far down as demonics versus angelic. I have met really pure and very kind, surprisingly, demonic entities, and I have also met some very wrathful and, to be honest, quite scary in a lot of different ways. Entities on the other end of the angelic spectrum, where they will annihilate you, and that is their one task, and they never ever work on morality of human understanding, or it's just what the creator's will is, what they carry out. And some of them can have a very sadistic glee about doing so. Others don't really enjoy having to do that part of the task. And even the earthbound ones that are meant to work as sort of like a trap for the spiritual, for the creator, like bait. And they're surrounded by negativity most of their lives because they have to be. And they're shown kind of the worst aspects of humanity. But there are some that want to embrace the light and to take being an angel of death, um, to help others as well, rather than just to take their souls to the next realm, and seek justice. Because just like every other being, everything has free will, everything has different personalities, different characteristics, different preferences. I'm so sorry about my dog. She's being really bad lately. She'll calm down. Could somebody maybe go keep her occupied for a few minutes if you can? Um, and so, anyways, yeah, there's a lot of different types of entities, and there's a lot of them here. There's different types of entities that are actually in different forms that you would never know that they're an entity. They can look like other human beings. They can look like animals. They can look like objects. Um, a lot of times they like to take the form of the vulnerable. I'm so sorry. One moment, please. Haley, lay down. I'm so sorry about that. That dog is, but anyways, um, um, a lot of times they'll take the form of someone that's vulnerable or a being that's vulnerable. One of the most interesting things that I like to share that I've learned sort of about some of the things that I have been shown through working with spirits is that like animals, like especially domesticated animals, um, without going down a religious path, are very much so celestials in disguise, because there's no better way to judge a being's true character than the way that they treat something they perceive as smaller than they or weaker than they when they think that nobody's looking. And the ones that do those things, that they let temptation and just evil cause them to misuse those baits, there's consequences for that, unfortunately. And depending on the nature of it, it can be little or it can be really severe. And I also found that it was interesting learning about like the jinn. The jinn are like super real, like ridiculously real. They're some of the most fun entities I've ever come to know. We have a lot of fun with the jinn, and they're real. Like it's amazing to me. I'm a logical thinker, and so like if I didn't know the things that I knew, I wouldn't believe it. I would think there's no way jinn are like Aladdin, but yeah, they are. They're actually, the Aladdin jinn was actually based off the Marid. The Marid species is the water element, and the word Marid actually translates to giant because they're huge. They're like huge entities, but they're actually some of the more peaceful and kind, understanding entities out of the jinn hierarchies. Then they have the Ifrit, which that's personally who I really align with myself. That's the fire element, and they're a lot more fiery. One second, I don't know what this means. I don't know if I should stop the video. It's saying that there's an error. I don't want to be talking and have this be for nothing. I might start again, actually. Shoot. I don't know why that's doing that. I'm so sorry, you guys. One moment. Let's probably do like a part 2, because I don't want to like re-go over that again. Okay, I don't know why it's telling me that about buffering. What do I care about buffering for? Anyways, yeah, the Ifrit are a lot of fun, and they bring a lot of paranormal activity. They're very active in the physical world. They like fire. That reflects in their personality and their aura. They're also very protective. So are the Marid, just in different ways. But the Ifrit are what I would recommend for beginners if they wanted to start working with spirits and they wanted to work with the jinn. As long as they come with respect and understanding that they have their own autonomy and you can't control a being of element of any kind. See, the interesting thing about jinn is they actually are created with free will, just like humans. They can be believers or unbelievers, good or evil. The next in line then would be more Sace or the Shaitan. The Shaitan. They're the darker. They're the one among the darkest of the jinn tribes. They are the type of jinn that you have to come with a lot of respect, and a certain personality will call to them when others will not, and there's no in between. I was actually warned before I started working with the Shaitan from the leader of this coven that I like to work. I like their work a lot. They're brilliant. that even though they were very familiar with my energy and that it does have a dark spectrum to it, they were unsure because these guys are very, very picky and they need like perfect conditions. They're usually very hard to impress. Like they're hard to keep for just, and so they weren't sure if it was going to work out. And we ended up really like liking each other. I don't know what it is about their energy, but they're active and they're a lot of fun and there's nothing like evil about them. I mean, they will get revenge like nobody's business so fast. It's like a little bit startling, but towards me they're wonderful. Like that we get along. We get along so well. I don't know if it's because of my fiery nature. I don't know if it's because I do have a dark side or if it's because I there's a lot of a part of my life is that there's always a lot of bad. There's always a lot of bad around. There's always a lot of turmoil because it's just how it is. And um, I know people say that when they don't like to take accountability. This is different though. I'm not blaming anybody. It's just I attract a certain type of being that I don't even know how else to describe it. It's just they want to be fixed real bad, but they're entitled and they're broken and they're just I feel very underappreciated all the time, and I feel that they want me to feel that way. A lot of these people that took advantage during a time that oh the consequences. Oh, that's all I'm gonna say about that. But anyways, so I was really surprised when I figured out how real the jinn were um, and are, and they're some of my favorites. If I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I love everybody. But I feel like the jinn kind of love me, a lot. um, and we have a lot of fun. And I was surprised at the realness of them and the different types of elementals that like Fae. They're definitely real, absolutely real. They don't like to be around iron that will weaken and hurt them, but there's some of the more fun bindings for people first starting out. That's what I would recommend, and I wouldn't summon anything yourself. If you want to get a spirit bound to you, like I have 333, and I'm not afraid of that. I'm not ashamed of that. I love that. It's not for everybody though, and like I wouldn't recommend that many for like anybody else. They can actually do real biological harm, cause cancer. Like a lot of bad things can happen if you don't know what you're doing. But and that's just like the side effects. It has nothing to do with the spirit. If you bind something that's bad, it's very hard to get rid of them then. But with covens that you can like work with and like find out through reviews, those matter. Um, they have like blood oaths where if they violate those, like if they even think about harming their keeper, then they're sent just they're 86'd out, like to the other realm. They're gone. And that's just how that is. For me, I cut that because I don't need that. I trust my family. I don't want that. I don't. We all get mad once in a while. I would never want like just like a quick flash of a thought of anger, and maybe that's just me being overly compassionate, but like I don't want that to ever happen. So for the most part, unless like they're new and they're like extremely high demonics, because I do work with demonics just like I work with angelics and I work with everything in between. I am a gray. I am gray. If I had to fall into what type of arts I practice, I'm for justice. I'm for what's right. And not all magic means that you're a heathen or you're hell sent or whatever. You can be part of the divine team and still practice like white magic. The earth angels were sent to earth to teach mankind white magic. They were all supposed to like share it, and everybody was supposed to have it. And the problem was that the angels started screwing around with the humans, like the sorceresses, and they created what are called Nephilim, which goes on to the next spiritual being that I actually really grew to love. I think that they're really amazing. I feel sorry. I have a deep sorrow for that species because they never chose to be created by abominations. They never wanted. I'm just going to take this full screen down because I don't want to look at this guy laying in his bed. They never wanted to be born by anybody. They just were made that way. And because of that alone, they not only got cast out, like kind of rejected, but then like other angels will try to hunt and kill them if they're not protected by like other angels, like earth angels, and like angels that work in this realm. Because not all of them do, but some specifics do. Um, and they have to protect them because they will be slaughtered just because they were made. And a lot of them are actually very nice and smart and funny, but they got cast away because they were created by these jerk offs before them, and they're one of the most loyal beings. If you ever like get the chance to get a Nephilim bound to you, or you become friend like a spiritual keeper of a Nephilim, you'll find that they are some of the most loyal beings. They will literally they will promise you they'll follow you into the afterlife if you let them, and they'll just like stay with you for an eternity once you get bound with them if you want. You don't have to, but I don't know why anybody like wouldn't. They've never done anything bad to me. I mean, they'll smack a bee down quickly, but like only in protection, and that's it. They just work in protection. So if you don't screw with somebody, then they're fine. But I think that they're great, and I was surprised like how much they exist, but they're like treated bad. Um, Different types of angels like that are absolutely real. The seraphim, they're so big, like in size, that they can like send boom chants that like literally heal neighborhoods if they wanted to. They could affect entire neighborhoods of blessings or smiting. It only took like two angels, but they weren't in the seraphim class. I believe they were dominions that took down. Don't quote me on the. I should know that, but I don't. I can't. I know it, but I can't think of it right now. I think it was the Dominions that they sent to take the Sodom and Gomorrah cities down. But yeah, they only needed two angels. They took the cities down, and like no problem. People think that like demons are the scariest, and that's another thing that surprised me. People thought that demons, usually when I work alongside newcomers and things, that demons would be the scariest, or even like the most awe-inspiring and terrifying to like visually see or manifest in front of you. When in reality, the angels have them beat by like miles. And we don't I guess normally that's not something that's like taught to people, that angels are supposed to be loving, so that must mean they're weak, and that must mean they don't fight. No, they're fierce. And they're in their actual form. I mean, some of them, they're the scariest thing. Like, some people's heart would stop on sight if they saw them as a living being. That they can't manifest because they could harm people because they're so beautiful, or they're so frightening, depending on what choir they're from. Um, so they have to stay in a certain form if they are going to interact with human beings, because otherwise it would be pandemonium. People would freak out. Even archangels are so gloriously beautiful that they're like, um, I don't know the word. They put you in a trance that it's very hard to get out of. I know that like my Ayla, I have three Ayla. They're celestials that are primordial to the angels. They're what the angels used to be before they were captured by the white light, and they like sub you know what I'm saying, they were subservient to the white light. um and that's when they lost that Ayla part of themselves. They didn't lose it, but they gained that white light drive, working more like a beehive than like a free agent. And so Ayla are the best wish manifester, whatever you want to call it, manifest incantation throwers that exist, like in this realm or the next. They're the ones that they can make literally anything happen. They can stop reality
But the problem is they come with a warning because they manifest a lot once they get like close to you, and they're so beautiful that if you look at them straight on, they've been known to capture people and put them either in like these trances that they can't get out of, sometimes for hours. This one guy said like 2 days. And then other people, like, they feel let down by any other like woman in everyday life because nothing seems as beautiful in comparison. And I guess like they've heard that a lot through the coven that helped me with my spirits. And so yeah, you like, I have to warn people not to look at them straight on because they might just like make you lose your mind. They're so gorgeous, but they never, like, they wouldn't purposely harm somebody. They're just so beautiful. I mean, they would if you hurt their keeper. They can be very vengeful if you hurt who they look after, but they wouldn't purposely hurt just like somebody for no reason, you know. They're just very, very beautiful. But I also thought that that was pretty neat that like angels came from a descendant somewhere else that wasn't just from the choir, because see, angels and demons is more political. They're kind of the same type of beings for a while because it takes a long time to be able to establish that connection on the other side, because they're not very trusting beings. Angels and demons, they don't want to trust anything that looks like a human. Even if it's like an angel that looks like a human or a demon that looks like a human, they don't want to trust it. So it takes a long time. And it's not something you want to just jump into because you can really, really hurt yourself. They absolutely have the capacity to end somebody's life. They absolutely can do that in many ways, and they can do anything. They can do anything. Like anybody that says spirits can't hurt you, that's a lie. They absolutely can. They choose most of the time they choose not to, because they're not going to screw up their after what they're headed for you, unless you really do something that, like, they have nothing to lose. That's why the difference between a ghost and a spirit is very essential, and some people don't realize that there's a difference, but there is. A spirit is a person that passes away, goes to the light, the light at the end of the tunnel, whatever you want to call it. He tends to the creator and the jury of celestials, and they decide, and it's not like something that you can like study for or like cheat or like pass or fail. It's not even something you can speak. They just know, like, is there purity and growth in your soul, or is there rot and decay, that it would be a risk to send your soul anywhere, even back to the creation. And a person that's decided they're good, but they haven't achieved what their soul purpose is meant for. Everybody is born, everybody's created at the beginning of time for a set goal or a task. Otherwise, like, there'd be no point. And you have to achieve this in order to get soul retirement, which is to go to like heaven, nirvana, whatever you want to call it, the other side of the gate. It's not a human word that can be spoken that it's actually called, but it's like heaven. And it would be like just starting a video game you've never played before and like winning. They pass away because they refuse to go in front of the jury because they're afraid. Usually it's something they've done, or even if it's not even really something to be that worried about, because it's not about if you wore a short skirt 1 day, 50 years prior to your death date. It's not about if you swore in church or if you went to church every Sunday or not. It's none of those things matter. None of that matters. That's a money scheme. What matters is what's in there, and the ones that are so void that they cannot be crossed, because it would rot the paradise over on the other side and it would rot creation. They have to go to the abyss. Now, the creator doesn't want to punish its creation. That would be stupid. It would be like the engineer spanking its robot when it's shorted. No, it would just rip the wires out, throw the wires out so that it couldn't contaminate any more projects. That's essentially what the abyss is. It's for souls that it's not a punishment, it's a garbage can. But even there's hope. There's nothing in this universe is eternal. Nothing. It's just not the way the universe works. Everything is momentum, forward moving. So therefore, if there are actual angels down there, and it's not hot, it's not fire, there's no red guys with pitchforks down there, it's forgotten. The real pain comes from the total disconnect from creation itself. But the souls that are down there that show redemption, that show that they want to be forgiven, that they can do better, there are angels in disguise, even in the pits. Those are the highest ranking angels you can imagine. Most humans will never get in contact with them unless they go to the abyss, and then they get chosen by these little watchers. They take them if they observe and they believe and they truly feel that they deserve redemption. Then they take them in front of the jury again, and it's decided again. And then they get a second chance. They get another chance. It's another role. They usually get sent back to Earth until a new vessel is available to be reborn. And that is the difference between an old soul when you meet somebody and a new soul when you meet somebody. Some people's souls really are very young. This was the first round. Other souls, they've been here a million times. That's the difference. Some of them really have been here a million times. Some of them really just got here. And that's okay. Everybody's on different points of their spiritual journey, you know? And so, yeah, everything, there's hope. Nothing is final. Even for the ones that do go to the abyss, goodness forbid, it's not forever if they don't want it to be forever. If they're actually good and they done some really bad things and they didn't realize they were good and it took some time, then they are given another chance. It's never just forgotten. That's not the Creator's. The Creator is not icy like that at all. And the devil isn't in hell. The devil is here. The devil, he is the Lord of the physical realm. Do not ever get it twisted. He is here. Um, and there's a lot of evil here. But there's also a lot of good. So when you see that homeless man that's asking for like some change, you never know, that might be a watcher. And depending on who's good to them, you get blessings, that's for sure. It's usually in the form of the most vulnerable. Um, and if those that are bad to the watchers, I don't know if you can hear this. Something just like knocked over there. There's nobody over there. There's no like living buddies over there. So that's somebody. Um, I forgot what I was saying. But yeah, like blessings are known if you're good to the watchers. That's all I know. So when you see like a vulnerable stray animal or the vulnerable homeless person or I don't just any kind of vulnerability, maybe think twice before treating them badly. I'm not saying you have to throw parades, but don't don't try to take advantage. Don't be evil, because you never know it'll come back around because they hide in the most unexpected forms, usually right in plain sight. And if you are just starting out and practicing magic, there's no such thing as light white magic and black magic. Like black magic doesn't mean evil, it doesn't mean bad. It's a spectrum of energy. There's high energy, there's low energy. It's about your intentions. It's about what you do with those incantations. You shouldn't put hexes on people because they broke up with you. You shouldn't wish ill on people because they gave you a dirty look in traffic or said a mean thing to you one time on passing. Like just those type of things. Now, I like to teach lessons if like there's bullying, like online bullying. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the spirits here are really good at going like through like portals and pockets to appear to scare the pants out of people that are proven to be a specific type of bully. And I do that not because I'm trying to like gain any dominance or control or anything like that, but because I actually, before I send them, the people that are being the worst, I ask them to repeat a certain sentence, and I tell them to type the sentence. They never will. They never do. They never ever do. But the ones that do, then I like to make sure that we get through to scare them a little bit, like within the night, so that the next time they associate consequences for actions, even on the internet, and you don't know what words might you don't know what typed words might be the next incantation. So, and then if they won't say the sentence, I just make them look like a genuine horse's arse, because they must believe me a little bit to not repeat like a super simple little sentence like I gave you access to my energy. I don't actually need those things if I wanted to, but I don't want to just scare people. That doesn't help anything. That helps nothing. They don't won't even know. They'll just think they're attacked and they're the victim. That's just what people do. But if they can associate, like, oh, I said this really horrible thing, and it has to be a certain, like, can't be petty. It's got to be really horrible, really horrible. And that way the next time they can associate. And so then they won't do that, because, like, I'm telling you, I am so tired of seeing 15-year-olds on memorial pages because of online bullying, and it's because they see their parents acting like 15-year-olds online themselves, where some people spend a huge portion of their day. I mean, most people do. So it's important to me, because I don't like bullies at all. And it teaches, like, not that it teaches, but it helps instill morality, even in like my more vengeful spirit friends, instead of just like random targets or whatever. Like, I want it to always be with a specific reason, purpose, or lesson, and just so that people can grow and stop being so horrible to each other, especially on the internet. Like, oh my God, I have seen the ugliest sides of humanity just trying to help other people. That if you do have an ability, keep that under wraps, because people will take advantage of you in any way they can, and the attempts themselves feel just as bad as the I finally just popped up. For this message board just popped up. I don't know why it wasn't up there before. I kept saying error, that it wasn't. It was like buffering or something. But anyways, yeah, I don't like online bullying, and I hope that others stand up for that more too, because, like, that's just as, if not worse, for your karma than like actual bullying, because then like a person is kind of like being a snake, like a coward about it, and the universe really wants to teach a lesson to a to a coward snake. They're the ones that catch it the worst. Like, it's one thing to stand up for yourself, and I know people don't like that, like, I do stand up for myself. I don't give a damn. I have been way too quiet for too long, and it helped nothing and nobody. It's certainly not me. So I'm not going to be quiet, and the ones that want me to be quiet, that's because they took something they shouldn't have, and that's not my problem. I'm not going to be punished for the way that you mishandled something that you should have been grateful for. But keep that to the best of your. I mean, it's one thing if you want to enjoy. Like, it is a lot of fun to help other people and to see like other people like really for the first time experience the other side and stuff. But that's the quickest way to find out the true intentions of a lot of people, unfortunately, is to start doing things like that. Know your worth. Don't allow for bad behavior for even a minute. I have a bad habit of over empathizing and trying to put myself in their shoes, and like, maybe they did this because of like, no, they knew what they were doing and they chose to do it. And you can't, it's just, if that's something you wouldn't do, like, you wouldn't picture it in your mind. And that's the thing with me, is like, it was so far away from me to act like that like I couldn't even consider that people were going to do that. And so you have to be really careful. about, unless it's something that you really are passionate about, and then you just shouldn't care. Like I don't, I could hide in the corner, and it does bother me. It like really bothers me. But I absolutely refuse to allow for that behavior to win and to be the one that's punished for others' bad fumble that they should have been grateful for. I'm not going to hide in or blend into the corner or be quiet because I'm not going to make myself smaller. Like, I'm sorry that you weren't enough. And that's the attitude that I wish I would have had from the beginning. And I hope that everybody that's starting out, like, you are worthy of it. Like, you don't have to hide or be ashamed if you have extra abilities. But don't let people take advantage of you because they'll try. And it'll just get worse if you allow it. Um, unless you're like me and you just say screw it and you just keep pushing forward. And yeah, it stinks when they do it. It really, really sucks. Like it feels like a rejection. Like it feels very like I'm disposable. Like even though they don't get anything from me and I'm not stupid, it still really is hurtful because like the attempt itself was basically like the betrayal, and it just bothers me. I would never do that to people. And so as an empath, I suffer with that a lot. And I'm sure there's others out there too that feel that way, but you're not alone. I felt alone when I first like started working with my energy and like the energy around me, and I felt alone. I didn't know that there was a whole community of anyone out there. But I'm here and I'm saying that nobody's alone. There are a lot of us out there. I can't imagine the amount of power we would all have if we all like joined together. It would be honestly incredible. I mean, that'd be hard to put in words, but that would be awesome. We could control everything, but we'd all have to be on the same page and for the best intention. Otherwise, it'd fall apart. Yeah, the spirit box in the background. I'm glad that it could be heard because I wasn't sure with the thing on. Um, that's funny. Um, but yeah, I'm just glad to be able to have this channel now and to avoid, hopefully, somebody else the beginning that I felt. I was so afraid, like when I first got really attached to even like the spirits in this house, that like I felt like like I could never leave this house. I could never, nothing could ever happen to this 150-year-old home because I thought like the spirits that were already here, like I didn't want them to be stuck here. I didn't know how that like, I didn't want to have to leave and them not be able to come. Like that's a very scary feeling. Like you understand things, but there's always that fear when you really care about something and that's even like a slight chance, because like